Well, that deck segment was about as short as Banks' professional career. But yes, Tom, we are here to bring you underway here with Beyond up against MVP. This is going to be an interesting one, right? This has to be an interesting match. We're going to see Korea up against Thailand. I don't get to actually cast, I don't think I've ever casted a single Korean match in my entire career when it comes to Counter-Strike. But you can see people are heavily favoring one direction here towards Beyond.
Towards MVP. But yeah.
No, it was Beyond. It was 4.7.
Yeah, that means it's not in their favor.
Oh, right, yeah. I can do
That's
numbers.
how odds work.
I can do numbers.
But, yeah, so MVP obviously the favored ones in this, but they've been to like a few like reasonable LAN events. I've been at a few Star Series as well, so definitely expecting a little bit more from them. They've played up against European opposition in the past. Now they're going to be out on that T side to kick things off. And well,
sorry, Tom, I'm just going to stop you there real quick. Jason, you've only just been let back into CS. Don't make me end your career again. It's already happened once. See you guys. Enjoy.
All right, thanks for doing that in the middle of the pistol round. Don't worry.
Thanks, Banks.
This
Real
is
professional,
the bank show, of course. But yeah, we're going to have the push coming in already. Olivia managing to trade the early kills from Zyne, but he's just firing off for the moment as MVP have already turned it into a 3 versus 2. Trades have come back in, but Tor's already down to just 20 HP, and the bomb is planted.
Seekalo, actually able to push CT spawn, take down Tor. That's going to come down to Rolex and a 1-on-3. This is going to be a little bit too tough as Solo is going to shut him down. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we'll band together to kick him out of the CS scene like the fighting game community did to him. But anyways, MVP do take the pistol round. And a little bit of a side note for you, as Bled did inform me. B&W gigs. So B&W in Thai is pronounced Tep, and it actually means deity. Just a little thing for you. Little Snapple fact for you guys at home.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Giggs was a Welsh footballer.
Okay, Tom. I kind of walked into that, so I'll take it. Anyways, MVP off to a strong start, most importantly. You can see a lot of SMGs picked up on their side here, and look how aggressive Beyond are trying to be towards A ramp as STK is just trying to catch someone pushing through the smoke. And I think for me, Tom, like this is a really important tournament, and I think every Asian minor is technically super important, I think, more than any other region, just based off of how many teams there are, or how many top tier teams we see coming out of these regions, like the only Thai team here, the only Korean team here. They have a lot of weight on their shoulders, a lot of their fans and a lot from their own countries. And so far, Beyond are making these pistols work, as you can see, taking it now down to a 3-on-2 and potentially a 3-on-1, as it's going to be Solo living up to his name in a 1-on-3.
Yeah, it does have the rifle and control of the bomb at least, but Giggs is very well placed in this position already. Spots him looking to rotate back and will drop him as well. There may even be an AK into his hands. So that is going to be the kickoff for Beyond as they get themselves onto the board. I will say, I'm not sure MVP, well, not so much MVP, but Gosu will be overly happy with being MVP being called the only Korean team.
Well, true. You caught me on that one.
The only one you care about, right?
And we also have an Israeli.
You just hate the
Gosu
too. Guys.
I don't hate them. I just kind of, got overzealous in the point I was trying to make.
But yeah, even still, it's like you got the 2 Korean teams here, and yeah, as you said, Beyond's the one looking to make things work for the Thais. But the thing is, yeah, it's a massive tournament. Even if it's just for sort of getting your name out there, you're not going to see too much of these teams at sort of the bigger events, like the few 100K events you'll see. So this is their chance to get to, well, the biggest stage. Either way, we've seen MVP. They forced back into this one. They've gone for the pistols, but already Giggs has started things off well. Tor a little bit blinded on the site and gets caught out by Zeph, and the smokes have gone down, allowing them to cross towards the site. Olivia already looking to try and run back in and try and deny any sort of plant, and he will be successful.
Olivia actually just snuck his way in towards bench there too, coming out of kitchen, just flying out. Really well done. But again, you kind of have to wonder towards, I think he maybe was looking towards the like the left side of the screen when we saw the other player like run in towards site and just got completely caught off guard. But either way, we're going to see Beyond, more importantly, lose the pistol round but take the next 2. And I think that's like a big confidence booster coming into this match for them.
Yeah, especially on the CT side where a lot of teams will want to sort of bring in that double AWP setup, and obviously all the utility a little bit more pricey, the kits and everything that has to be bought up as well. So yeah, it's important to build those finances a little bit early on. Now we're going to see a bit more of a sort of a classic A-site strategy, an attempt through Palace to get yourself the bomb down, just the explosion through. And basically they just want to try and make a bit of money going into the next round. So don't really expect much from MVP. Best case scenario, bomb is on the day.
I think if STK can survive this, though, I don't think they're going to have a chance to get the bomb down as they have pushed out of Palace. No smokes, no nothing. As they're going to be walking straight towards death. And Beyond do take the round extremely cleanly. But now here we go. MVP. It's not going to be basically the full buy out of them. But it should be a buy nonetheless.
They didn't stand a chance because Rolex was watching. You look very happy about that one.
You know, I'll give you this, Tom. I appreciate what you do with it.
There's a few like.
I just didn't hear Banks go for the ha this time.
Yeah, no, that one was even painful for him, which means it's even more successful.
Well, he already had his one interjection in the cast. He can't do it again, you know. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, God, that was actually really good. I'll give you that. It was really good. Oh, that was nice. Anyways, MVP. Gonna get caught out here and towards middle though as Tor does push short aggressively. And it's gonna be nice to see because we obviously got to cast the CIS minor and we got to see how teams were playing Mirage because we had that happen quite a few times. I'm curious how, you know, the Asian region here in the minor will go when it comes to this map.
Yeah, at least when it came to sort of Tyler, you'd expect quite a bit to come out of their T side, like very like sort of individual base, like pushing onto the side, able to find those openers, sort of like we saw HZ doing in the last map. But at least for now, it's been a great early start from Tor with that AWP. He even switched up his angle over towards this B-Apps. A bit of a weird situation, though, throwing down the smoke. He's going to use it to try and go through. Is it a little bit of a one-way? If it is, that's magnificent. The only problem I have is I don't think he knows that Zeph is already past the angle, which means he's absolutely screwed. Such an aggressive position. No support either. Giggs is the closest one who's going to be rotating into the site, and the Molotov won't hold him out. He's going to go running straight through it. An individual play, hoping to try and take the fights, and it did not work out. Luckily for them, Olivia's been able to find one back in return. Zeta still waiting patiently, though, and again, another individual push as they look to try and fight. Still, they're keeping this close in the 2 versus 2. You sort of expect MVP to just be able to clean this one up fairly easily, but the flashbang leaves Zion completely blind. Still, he at least connects onto one. Glow maybe burning, but he still takes down another opponent, and the diffuser just coming in. Zion has to run. There's only a second left on it, but either way, he still wins them the round. It's very, very close. But it is another on the board for the Koreans.
You would imagine that's a round you're just not... You shouldn't have lost if you're Beyond, because if Tor didn't push up so aggressively in towards, you know, B-Apps, like there was no chance for a refrag, right? There was no one else there. If there was 2 players coming against you and you don't get a collateral shot with AWP, you're gonna die most likely, like 90% of the time. So he dies without getting a single frag, and then you see Giggs push through by himself with no backup. It's just, that shouldn't have been a round that they lost if they played that a little bit more passively, and that's something you said. Didn't play it like individuals, played it as a team.
I think that sort of play was really interesting for me from Tor, just because it was sort of one of those positions where you normally do just hold it like this, just have the AWP out, you don't try and do something fancy with the one-way smokes, and I always like seeing one-way smokes, I always like seeing them attempt it because it can give you a massive advantage, but as I said, I think it was just that the player had already crossed, so he was basically screwed. There was no way he was ever going to hit that shot, so either way, it is going to be 3-2. They do still have a buy in play, and it actually has double AWPs beside it. SDK will be left on an SMG, but now they're going to have Giggs going very aggressive, but the flashbang doesn't work out, doesn't give them any advantage over Zeph. And that's going to be the man advantage swinging into the favor of MVP.
The thing is, they still have a smoke, so it's not like they needed to necessarily push as aggressively over towards B like they did. And with that death, I mean, they forced a rotation, right? Olivia had to rotate back over to help out. They still have the double op set up. But being a man down here might be kind of their downfall because both their ops are over towards B. They could definitely use them over towards A currently. You can see connectors wide open, jungle kitchen, jungle to window to kitchen is potentially open for taking, but Rolex has to go big here. Just not able to hit those first initial shots. Let's get the finisher onto Zeph, but again, one's not going to be the finisher, and now it's going to come down to, I think, STK and Palace, who actually could pull off a significant play here.
Especially with them trying to challenge over towards that CT spot. He comes in from behind. They don't check this spot at all, so he's managed to turn it right back into a 2 versus 2. He can also cover his teammate looking to try and cross in. The only problem is that connector spot, which is going to be really difficult to clear for either of the players. Now, they do currently have a smoke and a couple of kits as well, even retrieving an extra rifle and getting them onto the site itself. So a decent chance here, but just as they turn around, I thought that was going to be an opportunity. Now they're just going to stick that defuse solo, has to go pushing, and I think this round is just done. He gets him just after. Actually, no, the bomb didn't get defused. It was really, really close, but STK must have let go, and somehow Solo, through the smoke, manages to win them the round.
So unfortunate for Beyond, but I actually don't even know how. I want to know how close the actual defuse was to coming through. Like, Solo, it had to have been within less than a second, had to have been within milliseconds before the defuse finally was able to be pulled off here. And MVP have been able to tie things up in this round in a situation they most certainly shouldn't really have been able to.
That was unintentional, wasn't it?
What?
They've tied it up.
I didn't even, I swear. But thank you. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It was not intentional. It was just,
I didn't even think of that one, to be honest, and it's probably the most basic joke in this whole cast, but...
That is me, basic. Jason, I want to say another word there. But this is a minor, I'm not allowed to do that anymore.
Well, Tor, AWP, he's going to be given something from the previous round. Obviously, very close, so if he can even just do some damage over the next few, he can at least make things interesting when it comes to the buy-up coming in from Beyond. I still do wonder if STK let go rather than actually died, because I'm sure he had enough time before he died.
There's no way you would let go in that situation. If you look at your health and you look at how much time you have, it's like you have to commit to it.
I just feel like with the amount of time that was left, I think Solo killed him too late. Like, it just looked like he should have got the diffuser. I don't know. Maybe we can watch it back later and have a look at it, but I have a feeling he may have let go because he was about to die. But
some CS demos and chill later?
Sure. Okay. We can put it again on the TVs in the lobby, which we just seem to take over pretty much every single day.
It's definitely true. Tor, though, is going to have a lot of company, just like in the lobby at our hotel over towards B. He's got to hit something here. And who was that? Was that Solo actually pushed in towards B? Backed away immediately. Zeph trying to fight from the back side here, but Zeta's going to shut him down over from B apps. And that should be the bomb planted. And Beyond have no weapons really. They have a Deagle, they have a 5-7. But recovering the AWP could be something actually that could go the way towards MVP if they want to bring it into the next round, especially with how cleanly this round has gone for him.
Yeah, something a little bit additional, and Solo already has that in his hands as well. And Olivia's just hoping maybe somebody peeks through to pick up that extra frag, pad their stats a little bit, but by the looks of things, MVP not going to take the risk. They don't have really anything to lose. There may be a rifle on the site. I think it's a Galil. If Olivia can retrieve that, it'd be something to bring into the next round. At the same time, though, they are going to be buying a backup no matter what happens here. And Zeta just making sure nobody's going to be re-aggressing into the site. Should still have the distance to get away from that bomb. And MVP, they're going to retake their lead.
Interesting enough, we've not really seen. I'm trying to think about mid control in general in this match. I think if we think back to the CIS and the European minor that we had happen just last week, mid control was like heavy focus. For instance, Team Spirit, we saw them up against Namiga like want to control middle constantly.
Yeah, Dima every time was pushing short pretty much.
And I'm curious if that kind of emphasis is put on from these two teams in this map. I mean, yeah, we are on the early stages here, in the adolescent stages of this map. You know, only 8 rounds in, and we're seeing the second buy-up come through. But I feel like that's going to be a major pivot point. And we can see Beyond have put a lot of emphasis there. 3 players currently waiting. You see STK pushed up by himself up in towards triple. Gets himself a double, though. Reinforcements can be coming in. Olivia towards jungle takes down Solo, and STK does get that third now down before he does get finished off. Now it's going to be all on Zion up against 3. Gets tagged up down to 16 HP and finished off by Olivia. And Beyond Esports have been able to bring things back to an even pace yet again.
Yeah, they've managed to retrieve the double up setup as well, so a little bit of extra cash thrown into their side. And actually the T's, with the amount of damage that's been done over the last few rounds, aren't actually going to be able to buy here. So, yeah, okay.
Oh, they're forcing into it.
Ooh,
it's not pretty.
A Galil purchase. But I almost want to vomit. This is disgusting. 4 Galils. We almost had 5 Galils in the servers. We'll see. Maybe they've just been having like a lot of practice with the Galil, but a lot of the time it is still heavily detrimental, obviously, to the T side, because normally you have the one shot to the head. That's the real big advantage you have over on that T side, and they've managed to diminish that.
Olivia might have a chance for a shot. Yes, he will take down Zeta. The problem is there's going to be 2 other players there, and smartly enough, you can't discount this. MVP immediately pushed through, take down Olivia and Rolex, and even STK falls, just like that. That middle hold, or that A8 hold, I should say, just completely gets dismantled, and those Galils, I know they almost made you throw it before, but they look damn good on MVP in this round.
Yeah, I think it was more the surprise factor, though. Just the burst through connector, finding them a double opener, and now the CT's left in a detrimental position once again. We've got Solo actually picking up the M4, but more so just the time. They've got to get back into the site and fairly quickly. Giggs has managed to sneak his way forward, but doesn't know that Solo's just sat on the site, and Tor once again is left in a position where he just has to save the AWP. So yeah, MVP bouncing back, and the one real advantage of a purchase like that is if they do steal the round like they have, they've completely wrecked the economy of Beyond. Like, they're not going to have much of a chance to buy into this. The only reason they do it is to buy around that AWP, and with only 1 round loss bonus, they really don't have much cash to do so.
They weren't able to upgrade the Galil on Glow, though, unfortunately, over to another weapon. But I like seeing, like, this is just, like, kind of basics to CS, right? If there's an Opper, he takes one of you down, you have the other players that you rush him down. You get that frag. You don't let that death go in vain. And they did it. Like, they're executing some really good basic CS, it seems like. They have not really upgraded those Galils, though.
Not really needing to here.
True. I was expecting... Oh, yes, so Zeph couldn't, unfortunately, even buy into an AK. It's down to 0 money. But this could still be an important round because Tor with the AWP, he's hit some good shots before, but he's also been in some weird positions, I almost want to say. We saw him previously pushed up into B halls.
Positioning here, though, around the connector. Is he going to get the timing right? It may not matter because the rest of his team is slowly being whittled away, and as he looked to switch position, we just see them all fall. It is going to be another round. There's no doubt about that. MVP sat with just Giggs remaining. He's got a P250. We've seen some magnificent shots in the previous map coming out from Greyhound, but realistically, he's just hoping to try and find an exit kill again. Grab an AK-47 or that trusty AWP on Zeta, who is actually someone that I feel like you can't not highlight when it comes to this roster of MVP. I think he's fantastic with this AWP, so I think he's definitely someone to watch, especially more so on the CT side. I feel like the T side, he's going to be peeking into a lot of these angles a little bit more aggressively and sort of hoping there isn't anybody on the other side, but realistically, again, it is going to be 6-4. MVP continuing their lead.
Skig's going to go for the run. All right, okay, so he gets a kill, but I don't think he's able to pick that up necessarily. No, not able to get there in time, but still gets extra money in his pockets here as MVP maintain the lead here and are looking to extend it even further. 6-4. And I would say I'm pretty happy actually with both teams so far. I feel like it's been a little bit scrappy, you know, kind of fight. It hasn't really been like normal kind of CS that we've seen in our last 2 minors. But that's kind of what we expect from the region, but these teams are making it work so far. Ooh, even got little timeout tickers to see how many they have left. Nice. I like that.
Yeah, we didn't have the... did we have a single timeout called in the previous
No,
map?
we didn't. No.
Yeah, I think that's always a good sign, especially with some of these like Asian teams that can just get way out of control and they don't really like look to slow it down at all. 6-4 is still a fairly like close scoreline, especially on a map like Mirage. So yeah, I don't think Beyond are in too much trouble just yet, and yeah, not going to be investing too much into this round anyway. Just wanting to save up, make sure that they have everything that they desire going into the buy round in the next. So again, looking to sort of make some money over on the MVP side, which they haven't been brilliant at so far. We haven't seen any sort of ludicrous amounts of money over on their side. And by the looks of things, complete stack, and they are pushing very close to it. This could work wonderfully for Beyond if they continue on this trajectory.
I just wonder if MVP will check before they go in, right? Maybe just kind of suss this out. And it looks like they're actually rotating back towards the A site, maybe expecting something, even bringing the bomb over here, more importantly. So I'm not sure what they heard or what they read into, but it was a perfect read. They're almost walking into the trap.
Yeah, this MVP side's actually one that has shown me some of the sort of the craziest risks sort of like ever taken. I still remember them with, I think it was a Star Series. I can't remember who it was against. It was on Mirage. They actually threw in a fake when they were up against the 15th round. So it was map point to their opposition, and they decided to send one player, like all of their team were pushing in towards A, and they sent the bomb back the other way to just run into B alone. It was the riskiest strategy I've ever seen, and it worked. It was fantastic. So they definitely do have some interesting and wonderful ideas that we'll hope to see throughout the map. This round, at least, though, it looks like they've got the gamble correct. Zeph just going to go pushing into the B site and will be met by multiple players. And now the rest of the team just going to go comfortably waltzing into this A site.
We talked about MVP in this round looking to build up an economy, and I think they're going to be able to do just that as long as they don't lose out on too many players. Solo drop towards, he's trying to rotate in from kitchen. And they're actually hunting these, and it looks like, unfortunately, STK got the short end of the stick here as he's going to be closed in from different directions. Zine getting an easy kill into Olivia. I imagine they're going to, in the next few seconds, look to close these out towards the B site. And the Galil they did have, well, that's just out of their hands now.
No Galil will be left in the side of their opponent, although an AK might. As Giggs has just managed to find Solo pushing individually, so that's a fairly decent pickup coming in from the side of Beyond. An AK-47, obviously the favoured rifle, other than maybe the AUG, of course, but that's actually something to note. Something that's made absolute waves in sort of the EU scene is the AUG, the SG somewhat coming into play. I don't think I've seen a single one.
Nope, I haven't. I don't think we even saw a single one in the first batch of the day either.
So yeah, definitely hasn't made its way over to maybe other regions so much. I know there's definitely being used by players in NA, so maybe it's just Asia doesn't really recognize the AUG. I mean, maybe it's not in their version of the game.
It also takes some time for metas to adapt, right? And with AUG and the SG coming out, it kind of was determined by how the game is being played at the time, right?
Just jinxed it.
Yeah, well, commentator's curse. I mean, well, you couldn't afford the ops, so you went for the AUG instead.
Well, we'll see if he will become as woke as everybody else. I knew that one.
Ruined all of your great puns earlier by saying that.
We're going to have the push coming in over on towards B, or at least it looked like a lot of utility expended. Solo looks to try and duck back down, but the mid-presence works initially, but STK with a nice trade back. Now the remainder of this MVP side look to try and push in towards the side. They've already managed to clear one out, but they've got to get rid of the player at bench. It's going to be Tor just sat waiting, and they're so focused on it that Zeph falls to SDK. A great round coming out from him, and Beyond right back on the ball once again. A fifth to add to their collection.
And MVP haven't really used middle that often, I feel like. They have a couple of rounds, like for instance when they rotated in towards A and had like 3 towards connector and 2 towards ramp. But they're not really using it as like the main pivot point. It seems like they're not really using it to maintain control and use it in the middle of the round to actually figure out where they want to go and what they want to do. I don't know if that's just unique to the team or unique to the region. And now we're going to see MVP take a timeout here, talk some things over. Up 7-5 currently. I mean, they have a good amount of rounds on the board, right? So they can be, I'd say, relatively happy with 7 rounds on T-side of Mirage. But obviously, I feel you know they feel like they can take more than this and take into the CT side of the half with a fantastic lead.
Yeah, I think as well, like, there's so many fantastic sort of individuals on either side that you don't really want to go in without at least winning the half. I think you want to have that sort of safety barrier, especially because Mirage, again, I feel like it depends on the scene, it depends on the team, like what sided this map actually is. Like, especially in the CIS, we're seeing a lot more like really strong CT sides, but I don't think in the grand scale of things that's really the case. So I'm more looking to see MVP pick up the next few and still continue strong into this, because as we said, they're a team that we want to see challenging to take the minor, to at least get through to the next stage or maybe get that 3rd place playoff. And if they struggle against a team like Beyond, what are they going to do versus Greyhound and Renegades?
Well, I can tell you how that's going to go, but unfortunately I've got to wait those matches later on. It's a nice little entry by Solo, and Tor again to be left on the side alone, but he's not able to hit the quick shots. Olivia as well, going to be smoked off towards Kitchen. Even Solo able to win out on a trade up against Rolex that he probably shouldn't have been able to. Just like that, the defense out of Beyond has just been halted to a stop.
I'm starting to get a feeling that that was actually possible for SDK. He has been the man to sort of breathe a little bit of life into this Beyond team, but once again, they're sort of falling into a pattern that you never want to see in Counter-Strike, which is the sort of 3 wins for the T side, 1 win for the CTs, and then broken right again. Obviously, the trend can't continue much longer, as of course they will swap sides in a moment, but again, it leaves them with next to no money, just a few pistols into this round, no utility at all. I really do like the little utility sort of banner ESL put in, because it makes my job a lot easier. I don't even have to count grenades anymore. I can just
doing
go.
Math is very hard to do on it.
None.
Well, also keep in mind, guys, we do have a B stream going on. Currently, it's Vici up against Gosu. over in Group B with Launders and Strawny, and it's actually 12-3 in favor of Gosu on... Actually, sorry, it's the other way around. No, yeah, 12-3. That can't be right, can it? 12-3 T side of Inferno. Actually, I think they just swapped over. That's why.
Wait. Korean team that Jason doesn't believe exists is going to be winning dominantly.
Can we let that go, right?
No.
We can move on.
You'd like that, wouldn't you? But where's the fun in that, Jason?
It's not very fun for me.
They're doing fantastically well, though, like really schooling Vici at the moment. Another team that we sort of expect quite a bit more from. Big fan of Zoking with his crazy movement on his mouse.
I swear, when I was casting him for the Asian qualifiers for Cologne 2015, Bled told me it was joking. But now he's like telling me differently.
Well, whenever you watch him like playing, it looks like his mouse has come alive and he's trying to fight it. Because he's really like swinging very violently, and yeah, it's very entertaining, but I imagine when they're getting absolutely destroyed, it's probably not so great for them. Either way, just another round, as said, with pistols. It's a pretty simplistic one, only Zine going down, and Olivia always seemingly the last person left alive, trying to just steal away a gun and bring it into the next round. The buy into the next isn't going to be a particularly good one. There'll be some utility missing, but should still have the AWP at least onto Tor. But saying that, I don't feel like he's had the most impact with it, especially on a map like Mirage. You need your CT AWPer to almost be a sort of rotational player, someone always just switching spots around the map and taking aggro positions. And I can't say we've really seen too much. It's more been, he's been trying to hold down the B site. Okay, every once in a while he'll challenge in onto short, but I feel like he specifically needs to be doing a little bit more.
I mean, I feel like if you even put him in towards Kitchen instead of towards Van, you give him more of a rotating possibility to get towards middle or to get towards the A site quicker and provide some sort of cover. And we're still not really seeing as much presence out of MVP in towards middle. So maybe in a sense, Beyond could be aggressive in towards mid. Use that to get information and potentially a frag or two, and then use that as like a pivot point to hit over towards one of these other sites. But MVP haven't been able to send 2 players here in towards middle. Olivia going to be the only one to really defend against this in towards connector. But I believe he should have been able to hear that jump, and as well as that smoke coming down. Actually, really nice smoke. Thing is, they're looking to hit towards the A site, so kind of blocks them off as well. But it does give them the option to actually clear off towards Catwalk here.
Still though, the connector control. I'm liking the sort of setup in Palace at the moment. The double setup, but the Molotov completely negates that. The man in the corner, though, may be a little bit of a surprise. They've had so many players over on towards that balcony. Are they really going to check this? No, but it won't matter. One and done. Left all onto Tor. No kit in play. And the smoke actually going to stop him spotting anybody out. I imagine he can guess that somebody crossed over into that CT spot. He's got to be wary that he doesn't get caught out from Zine, who's also going to go into that position, perfectly set up for this bomb plant. And as said, he doesn't even have a kit. Now, I'm sure there's a kit somewhere down for this Beyond side, but basically he needs to be doing this far, far quicker if he's going to have any chance of winning this round. And I think he knows that. Nice shot onto Zine, though, but he has absolutely no idea where the remaining player is. And as said, the clock now ticking far too fast. It's just going to be the shoulder peaks, almost manages to connect the shot, but there's even a Molotov. I don't know how he's going to do this, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He gets all the kills, he pads his stats a little bit, and he's just going to be left trying to shoot his teammates in the head, or not teammate, opponent in the head. It won't make a difference in the end.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have to head to a break. When we come back, we'll be kicking off our second half here of our second match of the day. Well, MVP came out strong here in their first match of the minor, going 10-5 in the first half here of Mirage. And on T side, more importantly, now as they swap towards CT side, we're going to see if they can close out this match, or if Beyond Esports will push themselves bed and bath beyond what they expected to. That was terrible. I don't even know why I went for that. So Tom, as I'm cast with, I'll leave the puns to him, and I'll leave the B push into Beyond as they come rushing in.
Low. Well placed on the side, but already Olivia's going to clear him out. Nobody able to find any frags from the CT side. They've already got a quick flank looking to come in, but it may be too little too late. Beyond, again, with a good start in this one. Zine still able to trade things back. Solo looking for a little bit more, and they do still have a kit in play. The problem is going to be just getting back into that site. This battle is pretty much going to decide it. It is messy. Neither player able to connect, and eventually Solo will win, but in the meantime, he's lost both of his teammates. There isn't a chance in hell for him left on his own, and Olivia will be there to close it. Interestingly, all the things you said are actually what you need. I think you need sleep. I think you definitely need a bath and something else beyond that.
A new co-caster. So Beyond do take pistol round. Very, very important pistol round for them as well. I'm curious to see how their T side's going to go, because again, they left middle open for a decent amount of time. They didn't really put a lot of emphasis on it, but so did neither did MVP, I should say. But Tor, I'm curious how he's going to op on the T side, because I feel like CT he was a little bit lacking. Maybe that was just the way the team wanted him to play in terms of his position, but it wasn't as effective as we've seen, you know, the likes of offers in like the EU teams or the NA teams.
Yeah, we've definitely seen like a lot more sort of aggressive style plays, but I'm interested to see what will actually come of this. Of course, 1 HP.
Solo HP, come on.
And I knew that it's too easy. It's not awful enough, and it's not good enough for me.
Doesn't leave that disgusting taste in your mouth.
Yeah, that's what it needs to do.
Well, speaking of Augs, as we talked about before, not seeing too many. We had Tor use it in, I think, 1, maybe 2 rounds, because I think he saved into the next. We're seeing Go pick one up this time on the side of MVP.
Yeah, I'm not overly surprised to see them go for the early purchase and not force and save for the sort of AWPs, because they are a team that we've already seen likes to play sort of on the edge of economy, like use the rifles individually and just sort of try and work all of the trades. They did it with the 4 Galil buy. That did leave a nasty taste in my mouth, but it worked, so can't really fault it. Slow push looking to come in. Not much utility expended at all from the T side. They're just trying to dry push this one. All of those nades that they have in hand are just going completely to waste. Maybe hoping for a bit of a surprise factor here, but there was no surprise to be had. MVP have cleaned this one up without much trouble at all, and just look, they're just going to walk around and just look to try and pick up nades, because I'm not sure any were thrown by the Ts.
If there was, it was just a minuscule amount, and I actually wonder why. If you invest time into that round, you know, they're going to buy up as well.
I think there's obviously okay, they had 1 for CT. Obviously, there's the idea of like keeping it for after plant situations, which if you can just surprise your opponent, find those entries, then it can work out. But
well, it answers the age-old
very
question
risky
from 40-year-old virgin. If you don't use it, do you lose it? Well, yes, they didn't use it and they lost it, and they lost the round. More importantly, as MVP is able to come into round number 19 with a massive advantage and with a great amount of utility.
Oh, I thought the neighbors could go a little bit further. Doesn't do that much damage, but at least whittles down the HP of some of these remaining players. Of course, we will see a buy coming back into the next round for Beyond. So this is more just an attempt to reduce the amount of money MVP are able to make. However, that's going to be easier said than done with the purchase they've had. A few players still investing into Kevlar, but other than that, Rolex has absolutely nothing, and we do see the Tech-9 brought in. Not too many players running that over the CZ, but just wait to see if they'll actually be able to catch anyone out. Of course, we've seen quite a few players pushing through this smoke at least, but it seems like MVP are more than aware of the potential of this.
Yeah, I think they're actually also as well being very careful in their aggression, not giving away any of these weapons. You know, build up that stable economy into this next round. I mean, they realize we're only 4 rounds away from finishing off this map, but the initial match still is relatively important. You don't want to lose the first and go into an elimination match from the entire minor as your second match in general in this tournament. And they're looking good. They're looking strong. Again, I expect the more passive play here and the respect play, I think, towards Beyond as well. But they have put the pressure on Beyond. I mean, again, 10-5 first half lead, T side of Mirage. And Beyond have had many opportunities to win these rounds, but the op play out of Tor, again, not to call him out in particular, but just the way that Beyond was utilizing the op out of him seemed to be a little bit odd, at least against MVP in this matchup.
Well, before we saw them not using utility, this time they don't really have much to use. So we're going to see an aggressive mid play taken, and actually it's worked out well initially. Zeph's going to go down. They're going to try and take control in towards the window room. Of course, you can already see Zeta is just back straight out of that one. Doesn't want to take any sort of fights. I'm going to use a bit of an off angle. Now, considering how low Olivia is, they can't afford to sort of miss any bullets. Sign also going to re-aggress over towards a ramp, so they've lost a bit of control in mid. They're going to try and gather it up elsewhere on the map, which is always a prominent factor when it comes to Mirage, is sort of taking more aggression. Actually, he's very well placed. If he can somehow win these duels, that will be the bomb dropped over towards the ramp, and a big problem for Beyond. Zine, he's already managed to win the first. He does. He gets both kills. That is integral to the round, because now the T's, not only, yeah, they've got mid, but they're on a retrieval mission. They've got to try and get that bomb back.
And Zion's even changed up his angle here to make sure to protect this. I think he knows he's relatively safe from towards T spawn. We're going to see the CT push out of Zeta, who's going to be able to drop Tor, but he will be traded out. The problem is there's only about 25 seconds left. And I don't think Beyond are going to expect a second player to come in from CT. If he just pushes it a little bit quicker, he actually swaps him out completely, and Olivia's going to fall in. Zine picks himself up a quad kill here in round number 20. I think they could be happy on round 13 now for themselves.
Yeah, that was a fantastic round from Zion. Both of those individual duels were so important, and then to get the next double as well pretty much wins the round. I think Zeta did a lot of damage towards the remaining players anyway, so it was a little bit easier for him, but even still, making sure you get both of those kills are important. By the looks,
MVP called the timeout.
I actually quite like that. Like, not get too sort of overconfident in these situations. Maybe having something they need to talk about, like the sort of middle control, because obviously it did go a bit wrong at the beginning of the round. So maybe just something that they've spotted early and want to fix it before it becomes a real problem, which I think is a good thing, because if you think about that round in general, if Zion doesn't get 4 kills, they probably don't win the round.
True. I mean, his position on A ramp, I think it was definitely unexpected out of Beyond.
Yeah.
Especially
even still, he should have been traded. Like, he shouldn't have. No way should he got 4. He shouldn't have even got 2. But yeah, I like that from MVP. Either just taking a breather, or yeah, just talking around what went wrong in that round.
Or taking a sip of their ESL juice.
Yep. It's good stuff.
Well, now into round 21. MVP again. Like, we talk about the aggressive plays out of Beyond. We saw Tor try to go for the really aggressive op play in B Apartments. But MVP are really not being too aggressive at all. I mean, the only aggression we've really seen out of them was the aggressive hold towards A ramp, which did net, you know, Zion the 4 kills in the end from that last round. It seems like MVP are forcing Beyond to play that they the way that MVP wants to. And I don't think Beyond are as comfortable with this. But then again, they're on pistols. That smoke can actually protect Solo from short, so you can watch under it. Actually, I like the smoke a lot, actually.
There's only one problem with it, and that's this. He can't spot anyone going on to short. I wonder if that was meant to be just the normal smoke you see, where he can see over it and he can't really be killed from middle, because this seems like, yeah, you did, well, there's another one down now, but this seems more like the smoke he would want, just to not allow them to go pushing onto short, because it leaves a bit of a hole in the defense. You can see they've already rotated a player, so it's clear that they knew that that might have been a problem, but it seems a bit risky. At
the same rate, though, it's not like Olivia can do anything with this, because that grate's not been broken. And once he hears the grate being broken, he's like, all right, well, now I can just back away and protect that, right? So I agree, it was a little bit odd to let a player get through like that, but at the same time, they had a player still short watching it, so they were safe. And there was no clean way to transition from that house in towards kitchen from behind and through CT spawn. So now, another round on the board here for MVP, 2 away for closing out their initial match. And Tom, is this match going the way you kind of expected, with MVP taking such a hefty lead?
Yeah, they've had a lot more experience on the international scene at least, and they're a team that more looking towards that third spot, for me at least. I think they're the ones that should be taking it, really. So, yeah, them getting this first match out of the way, I think they're one of the highest seeds. They should be doing the damage. Zeta definitely not had the sort of performance I was expecting from him, but there's been plenty of players to pick up the slack. Zeph will be going down early, and actually Solo meets the same fate. The repeat not working out, and although they've done a decent amount of damage with utility, they're still 2-man to the bad.
Thing is, with the way MVP have been playing, even with just 3 players alive, I don't think you can count them out. The problem is now Olivia. He's got an easy angle here. Zion's going to actually push out with the help of teammates to get a control of middle bar. Will they expect a player to be towards connector? Olivia's not going to be spotted as he gets his way through here. And Tor gets a huge kill. That allows him to get in towards the B side, force the rotation even quicker out of MVP. And Zion will respawn, but now it's just all on Zion against 2. The thing is, he can win things like this. The problem is Tor is on a quick run back towards A.
I like it. That's smart. The only problem is, can Zion win this individual duel? No, he can't. That was crucial. Olivia with 3 big kills in that round to turn the tide into the favor of Beyond. They will get themselves an 8th round on the board, but still, it's a long, long way back, and the CT side economy should be in a very good position going into this one. We'll get the AWP straight in onto Zeta. I almost wonder if there's going to be a secondary one thrown in, but by the looks of it, just going to stick to what they've been doing so far. No real reason to go for anything different because, well, they've had a 4 streak of rounds. It's only been the 1 break that Beyond have got in the last.
Yeah, and I don't think the way that they're holding middle is kind of allowing them to run maybe a double op setup. They like to have a player really aggressively pushed up towards short, which we've seen some teams actually use that as an opposition and back away after the initial shot if you can hit it. That was really cheeky out of Solo.
That flash was sick as well. I think that was a flash over the top that actually just left Olivia completely blind, and then Solo knows it's coming, so just peeks above it. That was a great start.
All right, well, lots of time to come in towards window. Clear out that right side. With the man advantage here for MVP. They're still looking for more. Oh, he saw, right?
Yep. Oh, maybe not. I know, I think he just didn't want to challenge with the bomb, but that's actually worked out better for Solo, who now goes for a second repeat. He's playing very aggressive glow, waiting patiently for anybody to peek over to B. And now, well, it's looking problematic now for Beyond as Giggs, SDK, all the pushes not working out for them so far. Glow's going to pick up another from pretty much the same angle, and Zeph will close it out from losing a round to a flawless round straight back. They've been set up perfectly to take the victory here, as there is no money for the teams.
Yeah, and they're obviously forced everything they have into this round, but they're banking on that prior round to win this. They just weren't able to really get opportunity, and it's kind of a shame considering how middle went. I almost am certain he saw just the edge of the barrel of the gun, the player in connector, but the problem was, like you said, he didn't want to challenge it with bomb and have bomb drop potentially up far up catwalk. So he goes back to drop it and then loses the direction of where the player is going to be, who actually switched to the other side of connector, and then obviously paid the ultimate price as he did fall in that 1v1 battle. But Beyond, they have, a couple of pistols here. They have an AK out of Olivia. They just haven't really been, okay. I was going to say, they haven't really been gifted too many favorable duels. It seems like MVP are consistently fighting on their own terms. But this time, MVP are being a little bit aggressive, especially pushing up towards short to get into house.
Well, yeah, it's worth noting that you're just looking at the scoreboard that Olivia is having an absolutely fantastic game, and still the scoreline doesn't look particularly favorable at this point, especially with the weaponry that's currently on the other side. They are going to boost him into the window, though. Already going to have peek back in, but this time Zion's going to be caught out. There's been a lot of connector peeks coming in from the CT side, so coming a little bit predictable. And Olivia, again, another kill to add to his tally. Leaves it onto Zeph on the site. The rotation of his teammates are coming in, but Zeph will be able to hold it down at least for now. And this sort of stagnates the push coming in. Rolex just looks to try and take the fight alone and doesn't wait for the remainder of his teammates. Instead, it's gone back into a 2 versus 2, but the position held by Tor has made things interesting. He's got the rotation down. It just depends if they come from middle or just manage to get past the little murder hole, but he still has all the info. He can hear all the footsteps if they go anywhere near that direction. Even still, though, Zeph's going to go on the long rotation all the way back through. The plant will be for the jungle as well, so they're very well set up in this round. The only thorn in their side is whether or not they know Zeph is coming.
Thing is, Giggs has no weapon, and he's running directly into us with a knife, so that's going to take him down. All comes on Tor. Upside for Tor is they have no clue where he is. They are not sure he's actually going to be in towards jungle, over towards the window side of the map. And he has an opportunity to get both players as they cross in towards site. You can see Zeph now trying to make his way in, and that should be an easy kill for him as he eventually does take him down. The problem is now he's in a 1v1. His position's given up. He's Molotoved off as well. The bomb could be stuck here most likely for Zeta. He does have a kit. He does fall off the bomb. Flashbang comes through, and Tor gets caught as he expects the defuse to be stuck. And MVP will take their 16th round and take their victory here on the initial map of their tournament life.
Yeah, pretty expected, I would say. Like a decent performance coming out from MVP. A few sort of sketchier rounds. But yeah, either way, I think we're going to be chucking this fairly quickly over to the analyst desks. And, well, I imagine James has something wonderful to say.